It's so nice to be here. I don't know what's growing in Palatka as I came through, but I'm a little stuffy this morning. So that's not you guys. That's whatever that greenery is coming in off of I-95. It looks beautiful. It apparently does not agree with my sinuses. So I titled this sermon this morning called "What Are You Doing?" And it was kind of a trick on Kevin because I really didn't tell anybody how to accent those, so you can take that how it is. I don't believe in magic. I mean, I see it, I enjoy it, but I know it's all sleight of hand, a masterful performance of illusion and redirection, and a great willingness on my own part to see what I really want to see. So maybe what I truly mean is I don't believe that magicians are magical. But things happen in my ordinary day-to-day life that make me wonder if magic doesn't exist. Others might call it coincidence or the hand of God or just happenstance, but whatever it is, it happened to me recently. The Reverend Carmen Emerson is Buckman Bridge Unitarian Universalist Church, my home church. She's our affiliated community minister. We finally refer to her as Reverend Carmen, and she was in the pulpit a couple weekends ago introducing her new series entitled Second Sunday, Spirit and Practice. She used the reading that we did this morning, number 437, as her opening word. So it wasn't a responsive reading, she just read it as an opening words. And for whatever reason, magic, divine intervention, my poor, tired, unfocused brain that only tuned in at the end of the reading, the last half of the next to the last line struck me. To those who have fallen in love with life. I scrambled to open my hymnal and find the reading, and still, after I reread it, that last part grabbed me. Has that ever happened to you? Have you ever experienced something wonderful, literally full of wonder, in something completely ordinary? Maybe you see a tree with the sun shining through its leaves just so, or you hear some random kind words for a stranger, or you feel a loved one near to you, and the experience just makes your heart sing. I thought about that phrase. Life comes to those who have fallen in love with life frequently over the next few days. What does falling in love with life look like? I'm pretty happy. I have a loving husband. My family is small, but we are close. My house is safe and comfortable. My job pays me enough to get the things that I need and most of what I really want. I enjoy my church life and being part of a community of like-minded people striving for similar goals. I realize this is more a list of material achievements, though, not necessarily the manifestation of what love looks like. The philosophical question of what does love look like bumped around in my brain the rest of the day Sunday and all day Monday. And then I heard a TED Talk at 8:30 Tuesday morning. Now, before I get to that, you need to know that my employer was involved in a very messy, very public attempt to sell. I'm sure that happens frequently in regular commercial businesses, but I work for the utility company, JEA, in Jacksonville. And JEA is an authority of the city government, a publicly owned, wholly government entity. Everyone who works there is a civil servant. And while we are each skilled in our particular fields, most of us have something else in common. We believe that the work we do is not just a job that improves our own lives financially, but also the lives of everyone in our community because we provide foundational basic services, power, water, sewer. It's what we refer to as, inside the company, as a heart of service. I believe it's why we have an incredibly low incidence of on-the-job injuries and why we consistently score well in public opinion surveys. We tend to care about each other and the populace that we serve. People hate their electric bill, but generally, they like JE employees. And because we're a government entity, it's impossible to divorce the business of the utility from the politics of the city. Through some pretty underhanded dealings, the entire board of directors and the CEO was removed and replaced by the mayor. And from there, over the course of about 2 years, it went from bad to worse. Employees, the general public, our bond rating agencies, everyone was lied to about JEA's financial health and future in an attempt to sign the utility's assets and revenue generating ability to a privately held company who, coincidentally enough, had political ties to the mayor and his party. The previous CEO and CFO are currently in pretrial hearings over indictments stemming from this attempted sale. And as you can imagine, morale within the company crashed. Employees who knew that what was happening was wrong were powerless to stop it, and even City Council, our ultimate boss, didn't jump in until the last minute. To say that there was a lack of trust in leadership is an understatement. And I have to add this statement, this is my personal opinion and observation, as I am not authorized to speak on behalf of JEA. So we get new leadership, a CEO, a CFO, all the vice presidents, most of the chiefs. And they've been working hard to get the company back on track, getting employees to feel safe and move us in the right direction to be that strong and valuable asset to the community. Part of this effort comes from our chief financial officer. His name is Ted Phillips. He hosts a TED Talk once a month. Yes, it's Ted's TED Talk Tuesday. Everyone in the company is invited. They hold the meeting through a Microsoft Teams portal, so even if you're working out in the field, if you can pause your work, you can log in and participate in the Ted's TED Talk Tuesday. Ted chooses a TED Talk that he feels has relevance for what's going on in our community at that point in time, and we watch a video together. Then there's some brief discussion afterwards. Which brings us to the Tuesday immediately after Reverend Emerson's reading plucked that string in my brain. This was a TEDx talk, which was organized locally by a group in Maryland called Bethesda Women, and the speaker was Sam Horn, and her title was Intrigue, How to Create Interest and Connect with Anyone. She also had a 9-point intrigue generating program that she'd be happy to talk to you as she was a paid consultant after this speech, but in her opening words at 8:30 to me on Tuesday morning, she quotes the Polish-American pianist Arthur Rubinstein. He said, "I have found if you love life, life will love you back." I felt like I'd been hit by lightning. What are the chances, just a few days apart, I hear almost the exact same message? The same message from two different people quoting two different sources while living two different parts of my life. I didn't just hear it, I felt it. Now, Sam Horn goes on to speak about how we connect to each other as humans, but it's mostly from a business perspective. She says we are not generally taught how to connect with people. Another sermon for another time, because I think I disagree with that. What can you say to get people interested in your ideas? How can you talk to people to get them interested in what you have to offer? I had to go back and watch the TED Talk a few days later to actually get her message, because after I heard what she said from Arthur Rubinstein, I kind of didn't hear the rest of the TED Talk. And I don't believe in God, but I don't rule out divine intervention. To me, coincidence is just a nudge from the universe reminding me to pay attention. And that Tuesday morning, the universe open-handed slapped me. And then my thoughts moved from what does loving life look like to why would I get that message in church on Sunday and then hear it again Tuesday at work? Almost identical phrases. What the capital H-E double hockey sticks is going on? I expect to be inspired when I go to church. I am actively seeking a message that will move me to be my better person, to motivate me to live at my highest and best abilities. I welcome being challenged, to hearing a sermon that makes me think and think hard about why I do or say or act or believe the way I do, kind of what Reverend Emerson's message did to me Sunday morning. The combined spiritual and intellectual feeding is what drew me to Unitarian Universalism. You can't just sit in the chair reciting the lines and mindlessly performing the rituals. Our faith requires your active participation. There is an expectation that you will do the work and that you won't be the same person when you leave, however you choose to leave. And I expect to hear about love at church. I mean, it's our biggest core value, right? Love your neighbor, love yourself, love the world with its glories and its disasters. Do all things with love, because that is the power that will bring us all together to the next higher level and to the world we want to manifest. At work, I expect that tasks will be assigned, metrics will be determined, my check will be deposited on time, and that good work will make happy customers. While my job can be satisfying, I've not really considered it a source of spiritual fulfillment. There are a few professions I can think of would seamlessly pair that spiritual and financial fulfillment: minister, social worker, nursing, maybe police officer. These are jobs that people seem to be called to do. They're fields of work that are the commodification of one's ability to comfort, soothe, and protect your fellow human beings. I'm sure some people become nurses because they're attracted to the pay or the social status. I'm sure there's a minister or two out there who choose the field not because of intense personal or spiritual needs, but because their families are all in the church, or there's an expectation and they feel an obligation to serve. But I've never heard anyone say they had a calling to become a sanitary sewer controls station operator, or called to be a grocery store clerk, or a landscaper, not a landscape architect like Frederick Law Olmsted, designing parks that become icons of design and outlive his own lifespan. A landscaper, like the guys who show up in 102-degree weather to cut my grass and trim the hedges. Who feels a calling to become a garbage man, a hotel maid, a tow truck driver? This is Tuesday afternoon and into Wednesday morning. Come on, universe, throw this girl a bone. I can usually finish a crossword in the local paper, but this puzzle had me stuck. I must not be asking the right questions. That's why I can't find a suitable answer. So what if I've been focusing on the wrong thing? What if it's not about the loving life bit? What does loving life look like? What if the message is about where I was when I heard the words? What does my church life and my work life have in common? Or what should they have in common that they don't? What am I missing? What am I not doing? And then, ding, ding, it hit me. What if we are deaf to the calling because we are conditioned to be? Because ministers and people who care professionally get called, but garbage men just go to work. We have a publication called The Folio in Jacksonville. It's our local entertainment/newspaper. It comes out monthly. It's free. You pick it up at restaurants and stuff like that. They have a section called Bouquets and Brickbats, where people can offer praise or condemnation on just about anything: politicians, organizations, individual people. Jacksonville had a really big problem during the pandemic with trash collection, and even until very recently. The contractor could not hire enough drivers with CDLs to drive the garbage trucks, resulting in lots of missed pickups and generally unhappy people. My own council person started sending out weekly emails about what he was doing to fix the garbage problem. And basically he was making phone calls to the company that didn't have enough drivers for their garbage trucks. It got so bad that they actually just flat out canceled the recycle pickup. Just put it in your regular trash because we just don't have enough people to drive trucks. During this time, somebody wrote into that Bouquets and Brickbat section commending one of the garbage truck drivers. He was driving solo on his route with his automated truck, the kind that picks up the trash and shakes it into the truck, then sets the can back down and drives away. He stopped. He got out of his truck and he picked up some trash that missed the truck and it instead landed on the side of the road. He certainly didn't have to. Nobody would have been surprised to see him pull up, shake the can, set the can down, and drive away and leave it all behind. It's not really his job to make sure all the trash gets into the truck. It's his job to make sure the can gets picked up. And it's quite likely that the person who put that trash out didn't have their items properly bagged, which would have prevented the problem in the first place. Right. My neighbor. And I would suspect on most days the truck driver has a helper with him in the other seat who might jump out and pick up the wayward bits. But on this day, this man, driving his truck alone, probably working more than just his own route, given the working conditions, went above and beyond and someone saw him and felt the need to offer public praise. Could we believe that driving that garbage truck is his calling? What if he always makes sure each bit of trash gets in the truck and nobody ever sees it? I can't tell the last time I actually saw the garbage truck. The trash goes out on Sunday night, the can is empty Monday afternoon. It's entirely possible that he sees his work as integral to the health and safety of the community he works in. His job brings him the satisfaction of contributing to the overall well-being of the people he serves, even if they never see him. He does his job and he does it well. So how does that make him any different than the minister, the social worker, or the nurse? What if loving life simply means performing the tasks that make the world a better place for others? It's not just comforting the afflicted, healing the wounds, and striving for justice. It's doing a good job, no matter what the job is. It's literally going to be hard to march for equality if the streets are literally full of garbage. At one point, I went back to Reverend Carmen's sermon. She gave us handouts and asked us the question, what makes a practice spiritual and not just emotional or mental? I wrote some notes down at the time, and one of my notes reads, "It opens your heart to other or better possibilities." Well, crap, that sounds like a heart of service. Don't you hate it when the interdependent web of life gets you all wrapped up? Thank you, oh great, beneficent universe. I get the message. I don't have to be in church to find spiritual connections. I can be called without hearing a sound, without myself or anyone else realizing that's what's actually going on. I am being called because love is a verb, and verbs are things we do. Loving life is doing the things that make life, everyone's life, better. The bottom of Reverend Carmen's handout has a quote from theologian Howard Thurman. Don't ask what the world needs. Ask what makes you come alive and go do it. Because what the world needs is people who have come alive. So I leave you with the question, what are you doing? Thank you.